Welcome to the Sacred Emergence Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Wong, and I'm so thrilled that you're here. This is a place where you'll be guided to living your most aligned life so that your truest, most radiant self can emerge. We'll be jamming on topics ranging from spirituality, entrepreneurship, to wellness and lifestyle design, and everything in between that can support you to grow, evolve, and shine, all the while not taking ourselves too seriously. So if you're ready to step into your leadership, break through limiting beliefs, own all of who you are, and expand in abundance, grab yourself your faith cup of tea and let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sacred Emergence. It's Michelle Wong here, and guess what? I have a guest for you today. Joining us all the way from Australia is Paula Ivy, who is incredible. I love her, and welcome to the show, Paula.
Yay! Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So Paula and I met through our coach, Jana Kingsford. Paula's been working with Jana for a while now through the Dream Team. And I just love Paula. She's so vibey, so fun. And we're going to talk about Paula's journey with her photography and what's led her to teach women to really embrace selfies. It's so fun.
Thank you. I think it's fun. I'm so glad that you think it's fun too.
It's totally fun. So if you haven't, you haven't already, but follow Paula Ivy on Facebook and Instagram, because you're gonna your jaw's gonna drop on her photos because she does these really amazing quests. I think you might have just finished your sunrise quest.
I've got one more morning to go. So tomorrow is my last day for the sunrise quest.
Oh my goodness. And each one is spectacular. And it's gorgeous. And it's so funny because you're like, oh my God, it's cloudy and kind of rainy. It's not as beautiful. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Because what happens with the quest is that I started taking these photos. So I decided for 22 days straight, I would get up and take a selfie at the sunrise. It's my sunrise selfie quest. So when I started the quest, the weather was freaking incredible. And I was having these wicked sunrises with all these amazing colors, and it was making it really easy for me to take amazing photos. And everybody was like, wow, they're so magical. This is awesome. I'm like, yeah, it's also Mother Nature too. Yes, I know what I'm doing. But Mother Nature was really turning it on. And then a few days ago, it was really overcast, really cloudy, really rainy for a few days, which I actually really love those sorts of photos too. But I was getting comments on my photos like, oh my gosh, how do you keep outdoing yourself every day? And this one's so and I was like, oh, okay, pressure is on to outdo myself every single day, which is not what the quest is about. But it was kind of like this whole, oh my God, I have to do a really good. And then when I woke up and I was like, oh, it's raining. I was like, yeah, okay. But then it was just to still see people, really connect to the photos and really love them as well as myself was just a true testament to my whole philosophy behind photography, which is about celebrating yourself and really getting into an energy that you can capture as well. So the way that I see photography is about capturing states of being. It's about capturing energy. You could take a photo anywhere in any situation and make it feel amazing to look at because of the energy that you're putting into it. So that, I think, was probably the challenge of the quest, was to keep that going. What happens when, all the conditions are right and you're taking these amazing photos and then all of a sudden the conditions get taken away. It just really goes to show it's the energy really that draws people in, that gets people jaw dropping at your photos and being like, oh my God, this is amazing, is because of the energy that I'm putting into it. It's not necessarily everything's beautiful and perfect going on in the photo. So it's been an amazing quest. Yes.
I love it. And I'm impressed that you get up that early for your photo shoots.
Well, I have 2 young kids and they have been early risers ever since they were born. So they trained me into becoming an early riser. Which is actually beautiful because I love sunrise now. It's my favorite time of day. It's so calm. It's so still at that time of day. It's so beautiful. And especially if I go down to the beach to take photos, there's hardly anybody else on the beach. So it's kind of like I get this magic moment to myself that not many other people get to witness, which is kind of special.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So really quickly, if people are wanting to listen to this as they check you out on Insta, what's your handle again?
My Instagram handle is Paula_Ivy_.
Okay.
And on Facebook, I'm Paula Ivy.
Ivy.
What am I on my Facebook? I'm Paula.
I think you're Paula Ivy.
Paula Ivy. Yeah, I'm Paula Ivy. I am Paula Ivy on Facebook. But I was trying to remember like the little handle for my page. I think it's Paula Ivy Brand.
Paula Ivy Brand. Okay.
Yeah, if you put that in, it will come up with my page. Yeah.
And then it'll be in the show notes, but just
yeah. But Instagram's a whole vibe. So go there.
Instagram. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I did your what is it? The Selfography challenge.
The Selfography Creative Mission.
Sorry. The Selfography Creative Mission. And oh my God, I had so much fun with it. I made it like literally like when I first like got the pack, like when I first signed up for it, I was like, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm just, and then I'm like, oh, this is really fun. And what you said about even if the conditions don't necessarily, because like the first few days I did it, it was cloudy and kind of gross in Seattle. But the first one you had us shoot the video, of us moving our bodies. And I was having so much fun. And I was like, I felt like I was doing it at the same time. I'm running back and forth with my phone and like doing dance moves and then and this lady walked by and she saw what I was doing and she started to laugh. So it was really fun. And I just love how you guide women to really capturing like their essence.
Yeah. So the Selfography 30 Creative Mission that originally was supposed to just be a bundle. So I created, last year we traveled around Australia with my husband and 2 kids in our caravan for the year.
Oh my God.
And when we were traveling, I created this thing. I didn't know what it was, but I was taking photos almost every day. I was taking photos every day, but with this intention, I was like taking photos and sort of doing these little videos of like how I took the photo. And I created 30 of them. And I was like, this is a really cool thing to put together to give people to be like, this is how I take my photos. You can literally see, I've just taken this photo. This is how I set it up. This is equipment that I use. And it was just like quick little 1 to 2 minute videos. I'm like, this is actually really cool for people wanting to start out and to get some, tips that they can try and start today rather than learning the whole thing about photography. So I was like, this is really cool. And then it was supposed to just be on a page on my website that you go through at your own pace. And I'm like, no, this needs to be a group thing. And it's grown. We've got over 100 women in there now, which is absolutely epic. So when you join, it's like you just pay for the bundle and then you get to be a part of this Facebook group as well, where we're all taking photos every day and sharing like how we've taken our photos, because there's 30 prompts in there. So the prompts are just words. And it's like, how can you take a photo that's associated with this word today? And you can see my example and how I took my photo, try something new. You can see what everybody else is doing. But it's really fun because it gets you sort of taking photos in a way that gets you thinking creatively, not, oh, I have to take a really good photo for this thing that I'm launching, or I have to take a really good photo for this, thing, and it has to look good, and I'm kind of nervous and I don't know what to do and all that sort of stuff. It's something fun. It's something like, there's a word, like the first word for the first prompt is feel good. And that kind of sets the tone for the whole thing, because it's like, this gets to feel good. You get to feel good in front of the camera. You get to feel good about taking selfies. You get to be like, you get to have that feel good. Whereas for a lot of people, and this includes myself, like I was a photographer since I was a kid. and I've done all the different types of photography. I have been obsessed with it for the past 30 years, and I've studied it in so many different ways, and I've worked with professional photographers, and I'm trained and all of that sort of stuff, that it's kind of like, I know that it's harder to be in front of the camera than what it is to be behind the camera. Because I, for so long, was like, oh no, I don't get in the photo. I'm the photographer. I take it. So anytime anybody would want to take a group photo of you know, we're at a birthday party or at Christmas or whatever, and people were trying to take photos, I'm like, oh, I'll take them. Or they would just be like, oh, here, Paula, take the photos because you're the photographer. And I'll be like, yes, I don't have to be in them because that's awkward. But I was really good at helping other people feel comfortable in front of the camera. I just never really turned the camera on myself. And then when I started to do that, I realized like it's really uncomfortable. And I mean, I know what I'm doing with a camera. So if you don't know what you're doing with a camera and you don't know how to take a good photo, it's going to feel even more uncomfortable because it's like, well, I feel awkward and the photos don't look any good because I don't know what I'm doing. So why do I even bother?
The photo looks awkward and I look awkward and I'm awkward.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Is it's all about your energy. So if you are stressing about trying to take a good photo and setting it up and you're feeling really awkward, and like that's the energy that's going to come through in the photo. But if you're feeling good, like it looks good. Like you can feel that through the photo. Even if you, like what you said, you're like, you know, dancing around like a little bit of a goofball and you're like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. But you were having a good time.
Yeah.
Like you look at the photos and you're like, oh my God, Michelle's having an amazing time. These photos are amazing. So yeah, I love the Selfography 30 creative mission. And I called it a creative mission and not a challenge because a challenge sounds really hard. A challenge sounds like very masculine, very much like, oh, we have to do this challenge and, you know, it's going to be hard, blood, sweat and tears. Like that's what I think of when I think of challenge. Whereas like a mission is kind of like, I'm going on this mission. I'm going to find something with like it's more exploration vibes, which is what I wanted for it.
That's perfect. Cause it ended up like when I was doing the, you know, the daily prompts, I was like, okay, I'm on the hunt for like a door.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, I got to get creative. Okay. So I literally like walked around my neighborhood, like my eyes, just my awareness of my neighborhood opened up. I'm like, oh, that's a really cool wall for the next one when she does the wall. Cause I kind of, you know, skipped ahead and just like, and just like starting to like plant seeds of, okay, that'll be a good one for that one. And then I started just to see my neighborhood differently. So now when I go on walks, I'm like, that's where I took the photo with the wall. And that's where I took the photo with the door.
Yeah. It makes you so much more present as well. Because that's one of the things that I've always known about photography. And I always, you know, it would always make me like, you know, turn my head to the side and kind of go, huh? When people would say, oh, I don't want to take a photo right now because I don't want to enjoy the moment. I want to be a part of the moment. And I was like, oh, really? Because I always feel like when I photograph it, it brings me more into the moment because I'm noticing the details and I'm really absorbing everything that's happening around me, all the information, and really bringing it into my body and allowing what I'm feeling in this moment to magnify so I can express it. So I think that's another really cool thing that you've mentioned is that it's made you more present around your neighborhood. Like you're noticing the things when you're going for a walk instead of like, you know, doing the usual walk and just focusing on what you're doing and not paying attention to what's going on around you. So that's another really cool thing that I love about photography in general is that it makes me more present and I get to absorb all the beauty that's around me. So I look at things and I'm like, I can see the way the light is falling on certain things. I can see the texture of things and the color of things, which, is just, oh my gosh. It's just like I see my life in pictures. I'm like, that would make an amazing photo. That would make an amazing photo. But just seeing things as shapes and texture and form rather than, oh, that's just a tree. Oh, that's just a door. Like you look at the texture of the door and the color of the door and the light that falls on the door. Like it's, I really love that.
I love that. And I actually really love your approach. And like, so I'm curious, like what made you, because okay, I think people have a love-hate with selfies.
Yeah.
But the way that you teach selfies is, it changed. Like I never felt I was doing a selfie. Like, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't, hey, here's like my, you know, you can see my arm. Like, you know, it was very different. So what's your take on selfies and why? Like, tell me.
Okay. So my take on selfies. So I totally get the love-hate relationship with it. And that's one of the reasons why I love the work that I do, is just helping people see it from a different perspective. Is that for me, I think because I've always been obsessed with photography and I've just loved documentary style photography. So even when I was a kid, I was like, okay, cool, I want to take some photos, and I would take photos of what I was doing, what was there, and like try and really capture the moment. And it was less about trying to make things look a certain way, and it was more about, okay, what's happening here and what do I want to show in this moment. So as I was getting older, I realized like I loved to, like, you know, zoom in on a detail and capture it in a certain way. Or, you know, when I looked at my photos, it was like, if that photo made me feel the emotion that I wanted to bring out, I was like, that's a successful photo. Because I found that if I looked at my photos and went, well, that's not technically perfect and that's not technically perfect. And I mean, I have done a lot of photography courses in a lot of different like environments, and you get, you know, marked on your photography. You get, you know, technically critiqued on your photography, and it's like, well, that's not technically correct and that's not technically correct, and all of that sort of stuff. So you become I was really aware that when I learnt photography, it happened every time that I would go through this phase where I would get bored with photography. I'd be like, oh, this is the boring bit. Because it's the technical stuff and they're focusing on getting everything technically perfect with your photography. And then you get to be creative. And I was like, no, you get to be creative first and lead with that. The technical stuff comes with practice. And I'm like, who says what's technically correct and what isn't anyway? Like, I've always questioned that. I'm like, why is that technically correct though? Like, why can't it not be like that? Why can't it be like this way or like this way? There's so many different ways to express yourself. And, you know, photography is a form of art, so it's subjective. That's the way I see it. And that's why I absolutely love it, because there's no right or wrong. It's like, it's subjective. It's like what it feels good for you to create in this moment. So that's always been what I've been focusing on with photography, is not so much, you know, trying to be the best technical photographer in the world. I want to be the best, you know, photographer who makes you feel something, who like captures energy and like stories. So you look at a photo and you get a whole story in one picture. Like, that's what I get obsessed with. So, when I started exploring self-portrait photography, that's the mentality I came at it with. So when people would say to me, oh, I don't like selfies because, you know, it's very self-indulgent. I'd be like, but it's a celebration. Like, I get that, yeah, you know, tooting your own horn and like, you know, show off vibes and stuff like that. But at the heart of it, I'm like, you know, you're living life. Like, that's worth celebrating every single day. Like, we don't know how long we're going to be here at all. And it's like every moment is worth celebrating. Like, who are you in this moment? What have you been doing? What have you been thinking? What have you been processing? What, you know, what ideas came to you in this moment? Like, there's so many different things that you could celebrate in any one moment. And that's what I focus on, and less about it being something that is used as a tool for trying to show up, or show off, or, you know, show up other people in a way, or like look how perfect my life is, all of that sort of stuff. Yes, there are some people on social media doing that. And I think that's what media has grabbed onto and gone, yeah, it's just full of people, you know, making their lives look perfect, and they're not like that. But I know a lot of people on social media that are genuine, like, this is my life. And it's like, why can't we be happy? Why can't we celebrate this and have it be like, that is actually my life. This is actually what I'm doing right now. And this is actually how it feels for me right now, rather than people just assuming that it's people trying to, make their life look a certain way. Because I think that's the mentality. And that's obvious. That's actually why a lot of people, especially people that I've worked with, is like, they're like, oh, I never used to take selfies because I thought people would think that I was showing off, that I was trying to make my life look a certain way. But yeah, I just like to remind people that photography is an art, and you're creating a 2D image of your dimensional world. So of course it's not going to be 100% factual. Like, it can't be. It's impossible. So, you know, how you're wanting to capture this moment, how you see it, nobody can tell you if that's right or wrong.
I love
it's
that.
your own self-expression. Yeah.
So selfie, your own self-expression, and it's about capturing a moment. I love that. I always, you know, for me, I'm so practical minded. I was like, well, why wouldn't you take a selfie? Because there's no one else around to take it for you. So you got to take it for yourself. It's a selfie.
Yeah.
That's how I always thought of it. I was like, well, of course I'm going to take it. There's nobody else around. And sometimes if you're like, hey, can you take a photo for me? It doesn't come out good.
No. See, that's the thing, right? And this is why I love how powerful selfies can actually be, even if there is other people around. Like, even if, you know, your partner or your kids or your friends or whatever are around, it's actually really powerful for you to be able to take your own photo to capture yourself in this moment. Because what happens is, whoever's behind the camera, they're sharing their perception of what's going on right now. They're showing you what they see in you. They're showing you the story that they see. Whereas that's why so many times people are like, oh, I hate it when other people take photos of me because that's not right. Like, it doesn't feel right. They didn't take the photo that I wanted. How could they not take the photo that I see in my mind that I wanted of me? And then they gave me this and it looks nothing like it. How does that happen? It's because it's your own perceptions, the way that you're seeing this moment or this person. So I actually loved that about when I did a lot of, you know, family portrait sittings and weddings and things like that. When I would take the photos, I loved showing clients the beauty that I saw in them that they may not have seen in themselves. And they would look at the photos and they'd be like, oh my God, I've never seen myself look like that before. This is the mirror. And it's so amazing to blow people's minds in that way and be like, this is you. Like, because we're so used to just seeing our reflections in the mirror. We're not used to seeing all the different angles of our face and of our body. We know this.
Yeah.
And we like, I'm actually just waving my hand in front of my face. I forgot this was like a non-visual podcast. But like, we only see like the front of our face, and we see a reflection of that, which is from the mirror. We don't actually know what we look like to everybody else.
That's true.
So,
it's like,
yeah,
that's really true.
So when somebody else takes a photo of you and you look at it and you're like, that's not me. They're like, of course it's you. And you're like, you think I look like this? What the hell? Like, no, ew. But it's because we don't actually know ourselves. We don't see ourselves from all these different angles. And it's not that, you know, we're not attractive. It's just that when we look at a photo of ourselves, our brain knows what we look like. And when we look at a photo that our brain thinks is us, but it doesn't look like us because it's, you know, flipped the other way around and it's from an angle we've never seen before, our brain just goes, what is that? That's not what I was expecting. And it's not that you think that you don't look attractive. It's just that your brain is so used to, you know, our brains are wired for like pattern and recognition and like things happening over and over again, because that feels safe and that feels good for us, because our brain's like, oh yeah, I know what that is. That's cool. That's safe. I like that. But when something comes up that is unexpected, that's when we kind of we back away just a little bit. And we're like, oh, do I know this? Is this safe? Do I like this? And it's that moment in when a lot of us look at ourselves and go, oh, I don't like what I see. When really it's just training yourself and your brain to be like, but this is also an image of me. This is also what I look like. And I see this beautiful moment with a lot of my clients and, you know, people that do my courses and things like that, is that there'll come a day and they'll come at me with messages and voice memos and all the things. And they'll be like, oh my God, I took this photo and I look amazing. And I love it. And I love looking at myself in photos now. I love taking photos of me. Look how gorgeous I am. I can see how beautiful I am. And I'm like, you were always that beautiful. It's just that you now see it. Something switches on. So there's this whole other thing that I'm obsessed with my work is like, we're so used to seeing certain types of beauty celebrated. And there's so many people in the world that feel hurt by that and feel, you know, sad by that. And they're like, oh, you know, if only I look like this, then I would be celebrated too. When really it's just when you can focus on finding your beauty that you already have and seeing that, then you're going to celebrate it. And then there's going to be more types of beauty celebrated in the world because you are doing that. And you're not waiting for other people to come and celebrate you. You're doing it yourself.
Selfies. Oh, I have to say, like, doing the Selfography 30-day mission.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like when I took the photos, like, because it was during summer in Seattle, so sunny. So I do have my sunglasses, and I realized that when I took the photos, I'm like, oh, I love these photos, but I started realizing that I'm actually really comfortable being in my sunglasses. Like I feel like I look really cool, and like those are the ones I'm most confident showing. And then the ones where like I'm just with my glasses, like I don't know, it's like, oh, it's not as cool. But like someone made a comment, because, you know, we shared it in the group and sometimes I'll share it publicly. And someone said, oh my God, like, I love that I could see you when you don't have your sunglasses on. And I was like, oh, and I just started to embrace it more. And so now I love taking photos without my sunglasses, because like then people can see me, you know, I'm not like, you know,
and you can see you too.
Yeah,
because that's things like sunglasses, they cover up, you know, your eyes. Your eyes say so much about how you're feeling, what you're wanting to say. It's like the window to the soul. Like when you look at a self-portrait, or even like, you know, a photo of somebody's face, and you look and you can see directly into their eyes. How many times have you seen like a photo of somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, I can just feel you right now. Like I can literally see your soul. Like this is captivating, because the eyes are powerful in photos. But that's brilliant, because then, you know, but that's the other thing is like starting to take photos in a way that you're comfortable means that you're actually going to start to take photos. And then once you know, it feels really good, you can then, like what you did, take your sunglasses off and try it and be like, oh, I don't know about this, but it's just getting used to it. But then having somebody else say, oh, I love being able to see your eyes. You're like, okay, they like seeing my eyes. I'll try it again. And then before you know it, you'll get so used to seeing yourself in that way that you'll start to enjoy that as well. So yeah, it's just becoming familiar with seeing yourself. And I know that it can feel really uncomfortable looking at a photo of yourself looking into your own eyes. Like that can feel really, really confronting and really uncomfortable. So I totally get that was like a stage or a step for you.
Yeah. Now I'm like, okay, I have to get more without my sunglasses, especially for like content, like for, I've used, oh my God. So like all of my programs, my offerings, it's like up leveled since doing the Selfography 30, because it's so much more fun. There's so much more fun. So I'm like, you're offering it again October 1st. Well, people can join anytime, but you're going to restart it October 1st. So like, it's a fresh energy of doing the prompts. And so I'm I'm going to do it as much as I can because it's going to be raining.
Oh, Seattle.
But like, it brought so much content in that I could use, that it wasn't just an inspiration. It was very tangible and practical. And it made me excited to create my own graphics versus like from a professional photo shoot. Like it's, you know, it's like the same photos that I would keep using over and over, but a year ago, or some of even like 2-3 years ago, that I just feel it's kind of stale. But like with
definitely.
Yeah. So now with like just knowing that I can create my own images. I remember one time for one of my graphics, someone was like, it just doesn't have the same vibe as what you usually do. Like, and I was like, oh, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to run out and get some more photos. Which I did. And then like,
just give me a sec. I've got it covered. I'll go take some. It's all good.
Like I gotta just pop by the lake just a second, and like it was very fresh, right? And so that's the power of your work.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, because it's so true, especially when you're creating online offers that aren't like something that could be, you know, potentially around for a really, really long time. Like where, you know, as online creators, we make, you know, programs that run for a certain amount of time and then they stop. We might run them again, but each time we run it, it's going to have a different energy attached. We're going to have slightly different intentions for why we want to run this again. I mean, the content might stay very much the same, but you know, there might be, you know, we're always learning, we're always evolving, we're always expanding. So the next time we run it, we might know more information or more skills or something else that we can teach alongside that. So it might shift the energy of the program. So you being able to rebrand it the next time that you want to launch it with fresh energy, like how you're feeling about it now with the photos that match that, that's so powerful. And then also what you were saying about the branding shots, I think it's an amazing experience to get photographed by a professional photographer. When you get a really amazing photographer that knows what they're doing, you can have a really beautiful experience with them. They can show you ways of capturing yourself that you never would have dreamed of. They can create this whole experience of like putting your outfit together and the whole, you know, what are we going to say with these photos? What's your brand aesthetic? It can get you really connected to like who you are and what you're wanting to show. But then it's also their perception of you. It's like how they see you and how they see your brand as well. So they might nail it and it might feel amazing, but it's not going to feel amazing for the next like 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the track when you start to launch new things and you're like, I'm trying to use photos from back then. I don't even look like that now. My hair's different. My vibe's different. Like it just... then there's this disconnect because you're trying to launch something now and it's not quite the same person and people are like, is that you? Yeah. And it's the same with like profile pictures as well. Like being able to update your profile picture with an awesome photo regularly is really going to help it keep it, you know, your vibe when people come to your, you know, your handles, and they can really get a sense of who you are. So many people get the professional photo shoots done and then they use that as their, you know, their profile photo on everything. And then they don't update it for years and years and years. And then you meet them in the person for like a, I don't know, like a Zoom conference or like an in-person meeting or whatever. And you're like, is that you?
It's like, oh, something's
very different. So it's kind of cool that you can do that yourself and it's this fresh energy. So people actually, you know, I find that people create much stronger connections with you know, the people that they work with, both being on the customer side and also being on, you know, the coach or the person who's creating the thing side. That it just, people feel like they know you now in this moment.
Yeah. Rather
than, oh, that's, you know, the brand aesthetic, she's being on brand, like, but who is she as a person as well is really cool.
Yeah. And I feel like even from earlier this year, like I've changed so much in my own energy and how I show up. And so I think like I posted on social media, like on Facebook, like where I was last year, like August.
Yeah.
To
I loved that post.
Yeah, and I was like, it was subtle, but I could see the difference, you know.
Big time.
Yeah, so it's like even in like capturing the moments that we see our own evolution. Like
yeah,
like because I have so many photos from this year that I'm just like, wow, 2020, despite all the crazy, it's been such an incredible year, and I've been able to capture it. Like, in photos.
I love that. That's actually one of my favorite things about selfies and doing it regularly. I mean, I take them every single day. I've been doing quests at the moment. So I've been doing the sunrise quest, and before that I did a 33-day winter swim quest. So I swam for the last 33 days in the ocean of winter.
That's
before
amazing,
then. So of course I captured that. But then also, you know, I take photos of me with my kids more regularly. And I know so many parents out there that are like, oh, I've got plenty of photos of my kids, but I don't have any photos of me with my kids. And it's like, that's amazing that you captured their childhood. But when they're older and you pass those photos on to you, they're going to ask like, where were you? You're like, oh, I was taking a photo. Yeah, but what did you look like? I mean, they can kind of remember their own childhood to like a certain age. They'll be like, yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, cool, I remember that. But then it's like they want to have you in that memory too, because you were their everything for a long time. So yeah, that's the other thing is like, if you're taking photos regularly, it doesn't always have to just be for business purposes, but just to document your life every single day. And then you start to look back at it, even if it's like just a few months or a year from the photo. Like Facebook memories, I love Facebook memories, because you look at the photos and you're like, oh my God, look what I was doing a year ago today, and look at what I was wearing. Look at like how like my energy in this photo. Like I'm so different now. I remember that moment, and it's just a beautiful reminder that we're always growing and that we're always expanding and that things are always moving along. Because quite often I find that, you know, if you don't document things like that, like ourselves, some people, you know, write in journals a lot, and that's really great too. But to be able to see yourself, see that shift, it's like sometimes you get so focused on where you're heading that you don't realize how far you've actually come. And that to have that reminder, be like, oh, it is working, or I am moving forward. I felt like I've been so stuck and not much is happening, but I can actually see there's been a lot that's shifted and changed, because you can see so much more in photos how much has actually happened energetically than what you might be aware of consciously, which is cool.
Oh my God. I just love this conversation, because it's like, we talk
all day.
Well, it's amazing, because we're talking about like our soul's growth, evolution, self-love, really like capturing who we are, our family, like time stamping through like a medium of photography. And you also teach video. Like there's also pieces of video as well that is just as like, that's even more like, whoa, you know?
Yeah.
So like, it's such a gift that you teach women how to do it.
Yeah.
Not like hire you to take photos of me. Right? But like you're empowering women to like, hey, like you just need a camera phone. Really. Like that's how I did it. Like I was very like, sometimes you'll show it with like, you know, an actual camera, but you could do so much with a camera phone.
Oh, most of those prompts I took with my phone, my actual phone.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. I always have my phone on me. And I am naturally a very lazy person when it comes to like having to set stuff up, you know, even though I love photography, like if I have to, so like, for example, when we were traveling last year, if we, you know, we're going on a hike somewhere and we're going to get to this beautiful gorge and all that sort of stuff, I'm like, I don't really want to lug all my camera equipment with me and a tripod and all the stuff. I'm like, because I've got kids. So I'm like, I've got to you know, lug all their crap with me. So I don't want to lug more and possibly have to carry them. So I'm like, my phone is perfect. It fits in my pocket. I take it with me everywhere. It takes amazing photos. Every camera, like, I mean, yeah, every phone can take amazing photos. It's just about learning how to use it. And learning about light and about composition and about like what settings to put it on and all those sorts of things. Just those little tricks. But then it's also about bringing your energy into the photo. It's like really paying attention to, or, you know, being more aware of where your surroundings are and what you're wanting to actually capture, and really getting into the like, oh, how can I tell this story? Instead of just like, oh, I just take a photo here and not really thinking about it, but thinking of it more as like, how can I tell a story in this moment? You know, what do I want in the story? And then you bring your phone out and you're like, okay, what am I going to put in the frame? Because that's what's going in the story. What do I want the focus to be? How can I set my phone up in a way that's really going to help people see what I'm wanting to focus on in this photo? And then, yeah, with yourself, like, what emotion do you want to bring out? What do you want people to feel when they look at this photo? What do you want to feel when you look at the photo? Do you want to remember, you know, how grounded you felt in this moment? Just like, this is just such a moment. It just feels really calming, and I just feel grounded, and I just feel like, like, is that the energy that I want to capture? Then get in that, like, feel that energy even more. Like, don't put the camera on and be like, yeah, I feel so grounded. It's so awkward. Like, you know, feel into it more. Or are you like, you know, jumping up and down excited? Like I often am most of the time. Like I'm just a naturally excitable person. Like do something to get you more into that energy. I think so many people stop what they're doing and sort of freeze to try and take a photo. Whereas I'm all about the movement. I'm like, move your body, get into the energy, jump around. Like I often do cartwheels and like play with my kids and dance around and all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's so much more than just a selfie.
It is like, yeah, it really is. It's not like, yeah, I love how you said you're capturing a story, because like even how you teach it, it's not like the camera doesn't have to be in your hand. You can put it on like, I don't know, like sandwich it between two books or something, like, you know,
everything as a tripod.
Yeah.
If I can lean my phone up against it, I've used it as a tripod. Like water bottles, backpacks, shoes, hats, kids' toys, rocks, a tree. I don't know, whatever you can find. Your phone up. It's a tripod.
I think it's genius, because you're just resourceful, and then there's no excuse to not take a photo.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you have a lot of amazing offerings that's happening right now. I want to hear all of them.
Okay. So like you mentioned, there's the Selfography 30 Creative Mission. That's very low cost. It's just a pay once and you're in. It's a really cool way to introduce yourself to taking selfies and getting a bit more creative and having it feel good. There's an amazing community of women that are already in there that will just love you sick when you go in there, because like everyone's taking photos and just wanting to like cheer each other on. And it's really beautiful because it's like this, I call it kind of like a photo club where we go and we take photos and then we share our photos, and it's sort of like we're inspiring each other to like take photos in new and different ways, because everybody sees themselves and their life differently. So when they hear a prompt or see the prompt, they're like, all right, cool, I know how I can take that. And that might inspire you to take one of your photos in a different way that you might not have even thought before. So it's a really cool, I love the Selfography 30
plus
Creative
one on
Mission.
that one. Like,
yeah.
Like there was one that I was stuck on. I was like, I cannot for the life of me get a good shot of a reflection. Like I was struggling. And then I think I was like, I searched in our group reflection because I wanted to see all of everybody else's, and I love their ideas, and like there's just beautiful. It's just like everyone's take on it, and I was like, wow, that's a really cool photo, and it's like, this is gorgeous. And then it inspired me to do my reflection.
Yeah, it's so cool like that, isn't it? Because there's, you know, over 100 other people taking the photos too, that if you get stuck, you can just search, not only like look at the example I gave, but everybody else is taking theirs as well. So everybody, the photos that have been coming out of there are just like mind-blowing, amazing. I love that group. And then we've got Selfie School, which is my flagship course that goes for 5 weeks. I run that about twice a year. You can join at any time, but I run the live rounds about twice a year. You can, once you join, you're a Selfie Schooler for life, so you get access to all the future live rounds as well. That goes through everything that I pretty much know about photography, and that will help with self-portraits. Yeah, so that we've just started the next live round now inside of Selfie School, so you can still join. All the recordings go up into the units in the Facebook group there, so you can watch the replays of anything that we do. That course is amazing. The women that are in there are phenomenal, and it just blows my mind every time we do a new live round of Selfie School. It allows me to go even deeper into what I know about photography and how to capture yourself. We do a lot of the technical stuff in there, and I sort of break it up into parts so you can focus on, learning different aspects of it at a time, not being bombarded with all of the stuff all at once and having to learn it all. Because I focus more with the importance of you feeling good and it being fun for you, because if you're trying to focus on trying to getting all the technical stuff right first, it's going to be boring. I can absolutely guarantee that you will be bored and you'll be like, I don't want to do this. This is boring. I don't care. I'm going to stop. Because like, that's the way that I've always learned photography. I'm like, it's so boring. I want to get to the fun bit because I know the fun bit. I kind of flip it around. So I'm like, we get it making it feel good, and we get you comfortable in front of the camera too, as we bring in the technical stuff, because the technical stuff comes with practice. But then we also, inside of Selfie School, I give you tools like mindset tools as well, to help you with getting familiar with what you're seeing and really loving and embracing who you are and your own self-expression, because that's another layer on top of learning photography, because we're specializing in self-portrait photography. So we're not only behind the camera, we're also in front of it. So that can be a lot to try and process emotionally when you try to learn everything. So we dive into like the internal as well as the external, and having that be a really fun and amazing experience for you. So that's Selfie School. What else have I got?
You got a membership group.
Yes, my new membership. I've just launched Creatrix, which is my female creator group. And inside Creatrix, we are diving into, like, obviously we're using self-portrait photography as one of our tools, and video as well. But we're really diving into connecting with our feminine energy and who we are, our own creatrix, inside of ourselves, really connecting to that goddess energy, that feminine flow, because for feminine core beings, like, she is magic. Like, she's the magic in being a creator. If you unleash, unlock, let her out to create, she's gonna help you really feel into and really express yourself on a whole nother level. So yeah, that's Creatrix. It's a beautiful membership where you can be messy, you can be wild, you can really explore who you be. And we're going to dive into, like I said, not only photography and video, but we're also going to dive into a lot of, working with our feminine energy and how to bring that out. And the women who have joined so far, I've only just literally started launching it. are incredible. There's already a couple of photographers that have joined as well, which I always love when I get to work with other photographers. It's amazing. But yeah, that's going to be an incredible space. That's like a pay per month membership. So there's no minimum amount of time you have to stay. You can just join and like try it out for a month. And but hopefully you stay, because I think it's going to be an amazing place to be.
I just love what you're putting together for that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And then I've got a few different bundles. I've also got my video vibing course as well that's run every so often throughout the year. We've just finished up a live round inside of there, so the next live round won't be until next year sometime. Very similar to kind of Selfie School vibes, where it's a lot about the technical of creating videos, but then we also dive into like making videos feel really good for you, finding your voice and your vibe and your confidence on camera so it feels comfortable to be in front of the camera. So I really like making more documentary vlog style type videos, but then also I make what I call vibe videos, which I do for promoting things. So I create these videos that just give people a vibe of what it is that I'm selling. It's not a video to say, hey, these are all the key features and benefits of this program that I'm running, blah, blah, blah. That's so not me. No offense if that's you. That is great. But I cannot make a good one of those. Like, that's just not my area of like interest. It's great when other people do that. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. But yeah, I really like making what I call vibe videos, which is like I capture what it would feel like to be inside one of my, like whatever the program or the offering is. So yeah, it's all about the visuals. It's all about the music. It's, a lot about that as well. So we talk a lot about that inside of Selfie School, as well as doing, you know, live streams and talking face to camera and different ideas and projects that they can be working on as well. Because everybody wants to, you know, create different kinds of videos. And then, yeah, I teach a lot about like how to put the videos together, how to edit them, you know, how to find, you know, great pieces of music and what to look for and how to make the footage work with the music and all of that sort of stuff. So that's a really cool course as well. Yeah, and then I've got presets for editing your photos. Like, I've got lots of
You've
stuff
got so many things. I love it. You're so fun. Like, just to like see your work, it's just like, it's amazing. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. I can't believe that we've almost been an hour.
That felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah, right? Okay, so people can learn about your stuff through your website. They could see it on Instagram, through your link, or they could just DM you to learn more.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'll put all of that in the show notes. And yeah, it's been so fun talking to you, Paula. I just adore you. I just love talking to you. You are like super fun and magical and all the things.
Thank you.
You're living on par with your design, with your human design. And I just like,
oh my gosh,
love it all.
The HD reading that you did for me, it literally was like Christmas for me, because you were like, this is how you are designed to work. And I'm like, all the ways in which I've always felt like, oh, I just want to do it like this, but everybody says I should do it like this. It was just like Christmas, because you're like, yeah, you're just meant to go with the flow. You're not supposed to have an opinion. You're supposed to see things from different perspectives. I'm like, well, photography is great for that. I'm like, it was an amazing experience. It just, it's helped me to see just how perfect it is that I'm doing the work that I am now. And it just made me lean into it even more with how it feels good for me, because that's a big thing about what I do is like, yeah, I can really make it feel good for me in the way that I'm doing it. So thank you for our reading, because that was the best thing ever.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. It was so fun. And I love hearing that. And I love that got recorded.
Have a session with Michelle. Then come join us in the creative mission.
Yes. All of that. Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, if you all enjoyed this episode, please share it and tag Paula, Ivy, and I on IG, on Facebook, and we will love it, share it, and celebrate you as well. So thank you so much, Paula.
Thank you, Michelle. This was amazing. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a good one.
Join our free private Facebook group community, Sacred Emergence, to receive more connection, guidance, and support. And take part in our 5-day Inner Confidence Challenge to not only boost your confidence, but to help activate your inner leadership. Details in the show notes. Thank you for listening to the Sacred Emergence podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and thank you in advance for sharing this with others who can benefit. Until next time.